Good evening, I'm Kim Christensen.
And I'm Kyle Clark. 1 year after his death, the family of Kilyn Lewis is now suing the city of Aurora and the police officer who shot and killed him.
9 News reporter Spencer Soisher is here. And Spencer, the DA ruled the shooting was justified. The Lewis family argues the opposite.
The suit claims the use of force was not reasonable and deprived Lewis and his family of his legal rights. Now they're suing, alleging wrongful death and asking for a jury trial. It's been a year since an Aurora police officer shot and killed Kilyn Lewis. Lewis was holding only a cell phone when Officer Michael Deek shot him last May. Officers were trying to arrest him on a warrant for a shooting in Denver. Now his family has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Deek and the city of Aurora. According to the suit filed by Lewis's family, Deek would have known that Lewis was unarmed because officers had been doing surveillance on him for several days. The suit goes on to say Lewis attempted to comply with the conflicting verbal commands being shouted at him.
This is 1 year I have been without my son, without seeing his face, his laughter.
At a remembrance event Friday, Lewis's mother called for further action against Deek.
Do the right thing and hold your officers accountable.
The district attorney later deemed Deek justified in his use of force. The lawsuit alleges that Deek was designated to carry a baton launcher, a less lethal weapon that he could have used instead of his gun. The Aurora Police Department determined that Deek did not violate agency policy. However, the wrongful death suit says the city of Aurora had the, quote, right and ability to control Deek's actions. For that, the family wants compensation for past and future losses.
We will not stop fighting for Kilyn Lewis, ever.
The city of Aurora told me tonight that it has not been served with the lawsuit yet, but the city added that every investigation, both internal and external, found that the officer acted lawfully. It said the city attorney agrees and will defend Deek and the police department. Spencer Soisher, 9 News.
Colorado saw some more severe weather tonight. The National Weather Service confirms there was a tornado in Weld County. Just a skinny little thing there. 9 News Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin is here with more on that.
Just a little storm nubbin.
Just a little one, and thankfully over an open field near the town of Raymer right about 5 o'clock tonight. But the same storm also brought 1-inch diameter hail. And we don't know the EF rating on that tornado, but it did take out a small outbuilding and shed. And so folks are trying to kind of figure out where to put their lawnmower and everything else up there tonight. And it's still raining in some areas in northern Colorado. After a day with highs in the 70s, just enough sunshine to destabilize the atmosphere, we're still tracking showers and storms, some severe south and east. It was in Weld County about 5 o'clock that we had that weak tornado touch down. Also 1-inch diameter hail report near the town of Raymer. Tonight, this cell dropping south of Lamar, considered severe, might also produce 1-inch diameter hail, along with heavy flooding rainfall. This is really the main system we're watching. Denver's relatively quiet right now, but there's the possibility of additional fog development overnight, and these storms in southeastern Colorado could remain severe for several hours, and then we're going to do this all over again tomorrow. We've got scattered showers and storms in the forecast with storms that could bring hail, and they'll come earlier in the day. Kind of cool overnight tonight. Weather headlines include the storms we're tracking, the outlook for tomorrow, and the much advertised warming trend kicks off later this week. We'll be back to sunshine and 80s before you know it.
Neighbors in Arvada are concerned that they could get trapped in the event of a wildfire.
As 9 News reporter Colton Chavez shows us, there's only one way in and one way out.
Within the community of Leiden Rock,
it's a loop and it's just one road.
Lies a concern.
There's no way to get out of here. We would be in gridlock if a fire started.
Laura Turner has lived here since the community was built in 2018, long enough to witness what Mother Nature can do when things get out of control.
The Marshall fires, the wind started just north of here. If that would have come this direction instead of that direction, we would have been toast.
Laura says her entire community would have to use 82nd Avenue as their evacuation route. Around 6 o'clock p.m. on your average day, this is what 82nd Avenue looks like. But when I spoke to Laura, she tells me it only takes something small to change everything.
So anytime 93 shuts down with an accident, we get gridlock. 80 seconds, total standstill.
Laura says her homeowners association has asked the city of Arvada to add more evacuation routes for their community.
And nothing's happened.
The city of Arvada says they're working on it. They say they've hired a consultant to evaluate different evacuation routes and are currently reviewing those recommendations. In the meantime, if there is an evacuation, the city says the two-way road would be converted to a one-way evacuation route, with first responders there to help manage traffic flow.
How are they going to get in here? How are they going to get in and out? If we have cars everywhere gridlocked, how's the fire department going to get out here? I don't know.
Laura's concern lies within the fact that right now, her community still has only one way out.
I don't know how you plan that. I don't, my escape route's 82nd.
In Arvada, Colton Chavez, 9 News.
The city of Arvada says it's also looking at improved signage and community education to prepare for any possible evacuations.
There's a new top cop in Thornton tonight. Jim Baird was sworn in as police chief at this evening's city council meeting. This came just hours after 9 News Investigates learned that he was recently investigated for his gun accidentally going off at home. Baird says he was holding the gun at his apartment about 2 weeks ago when there was an accidental discharge. Bullet hit his cabinet and went into his neighbor's wall, did some damage to his neighbor's kitchen. Hours before he was sworn in, Baird acknowledged us that he was negligent.
And unfortunately, I was on the phone at the time. I was multitasking and my attention was in 2 different places. And at some point, I shot a round off in the apartment.
Was your finger on the trigger?
Oh, it's the only way a gun can go off, so I assume so, but I don't remember that happening. But I was kind of just trying to grip back and forth.
Thornton police say they investigated the situation, didn't find any evidence of criminal wrongdoing. Baird told us he would be willing to get some additional training.
Investigators say a CU student who was found dead in February died by suicide. But in an exclusive interview with 9 News, 18-year-old Megan Trussell's parents say they want someone to take another look. Megan's body was found along Boulder Canyon Drive, days after she was reported missing from her dorm. An autopsy says that she died from amphetamines and hypothermia. Megan's parents worry investigators aren't considering other factors, like the fact that they say Megan was missing a shoe that's never been found. They also say for weeks, detectives told them they suspected Megan's phone was lost in the canyon. But the family eventually uncovered that someone stole it and sold it, rather, at an Eco ATM. They also say they were told the autopsy revealed Megan had bruising on the back of her head and chipped teeth, though they said those injuries did not contribute to her death.
There's too much outstanding evidence, too many strings attached, too many things that don't add up with her behavior, with her history, with where she was found.
Megan's parents plan to have someone take a second look at that autopsy, and they're considering hiring their own investigator.
The family of a man accused of plotting to attack the U.S. Embassy in Israel says he has struggled with mental illness for much of his life. The FBI says 28-year-old Joseph Newmeyer, who grew up in Greenwood Village, went to the embassy in Tel Aviv late last month with plans to damage it. Agents say 3 bottles of alcohol were found in a backpack he left behind. One had a cloth sticking out of the top like a Molotov cocktail. Newmeyer is now being held in federal custody. Today, his family released a statement saying that they are grateful American and Israeli law enforcement prevented anyone from getting hurt. They said they're fully cooperating with the investigation. People who own bars in Lodo are brainstorming with the city on ways to keep that part of town safe. With the city wrapping up its $175 million construction project on the 16th Street Mall and campaigning to get people back downtown, safety has been an issue of concern and conversation. Dozens of bar owners met today for a first-of-its-kind meeting talking with city leaders about security.
We need to do this today because we've invested $175 million in the mall. We've done all this work to reorganize our police, but making sure that the private businesses downtown are aware of the investment that we've made and are able to get to all the resources they need quickly. This is the reason we're doing this today.
The rates of the most serious violent crimes in Denver are dropping. Number of homicides has fallen more than 50% so far this year compared to last.
There are now vending machines near 3 Denver police stations where you can go to treat an overdose. a reversing drug for free. Each machine holds up to 75 naloxone kits that you can access 24/7. They're outside police stations on Holly, Washington, and Cherokee streets, areas that all have a significant amount of reported overdoses. DPD recognizes that people who use drugs may be nervous about getting help so close to a police station, but they say they're more concerned about saving lives than making arrests.
We hope that users feel comfortable coming here and getting these kits because at the end of the day, you know, we're all about public safety, and harm reduction, I think, is a huge part of public safety.
These machines are funded through opioid crisis settlements that the state has secured from suing pharmaceutical companies. President Trump's health department no longer recommends COVID vaccines for healthy children and pregnant women. In a video posted on social media today, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said he removed those shots from the CDC's recommendations for these groups. Previously, the government urged all Americans 6 months or older to get an annual booster. The announcement raises plenty of questions like what's changed, whether health insurance companies will keep covering the vaccinations, and how difficult it will now be for people who want to get them.